charms. Michigan Rose Girls Show. Michigan Rose Girls Show. Spot and roll doing big ass grows. Red Southern Farms also got the flame. Michigan Rose grows folks. Just wanna grow something to smoke. Michigan Rose Grows Show. Michigan Rose Grows Show. Michigan Rose Grows Show. Michigan Rose Grows Show.
Welcome to the Bros Show Live. I'm Skilbo One, and the panel is assembled, and we even have Fergroli with us this evening. Cheers, everybody. I'm glad that you could join us.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Fergroli is going to be our new regular panelist. He's going to join us whenever he feels like it. So that's what I'm going to call him, as an irregular panelist. I like that name. I think by adding Fergroli, it'll give us the ability to kind of flex people in and out as they want to relax a little bit more. And of course, he brings a lot of knowledge in a lot of ways for what he can bring to the show, hydrocarbons, etc. So welcome, Fergroli. Appreciate having you here. Would you like to introduce yourself first, and we'll get along with it?
Sure. My name is Fergroli. Like you said, I have a forte in, I guess, hydrocarbon extraction. I've been growing for, I don't know, about 10 years now. I think I should probably figure that out if my 10-year anniversary is come and gone or not. But yeah, you can find me at Fergroli _ because Instagram police came around, deleted me for the third time. So I'm now at Fergroli _ and on YouTube here, Fergroli, FREGROWLI. Thanks for having me, guys. I'm so happy to be here, and I'm happy to join the panel. This feels great.
It's like old times.
Look, Fergroli only has 490 followers now,
Which is criminal.
so make sure you go to his page and hit him up. Fergroli with the _ Get him back on there. He's the real deal. This is the guy.
That's the stuff right
I've been
there.
dabbing some of this stuff, by the way. This is incredible. Painted Lady bought some of this. Very, very good stuff.
Delicious.
Thank you for joining us, Fergroli.
Delicious.
Dan, welcome to the show. Dan, your square was lit up, so I figured I'd have you talk next.
Dankman Dan, you can find me on Instagram. You can find me here with the Bros Sunday nights, and Wake and Bake every other Saturday at 9 a.m. Look forward to chatting with the panel and talking with Chet. If you have any questions, hit us up.
Absolutely. We should have a Wake and Bake this next week.
Saturday. Yes, sir.
Speaking of the Wake and Bake, we should have Tara talk next. What's up, Tara? Welcome to the show.
Cheers, guys. Happy Sunday. Tara Wilson, 1409. You can find me here on Sundays and every other Saturday. Can't wait to wake and bake with you guys this weekend.
Should be a good one. Should be a good one. We should have a lot to talk about. Baked. Baked looks faded. Welcome to the show, Baked.
Yep.
Yep.
I'm Bake PWN. You can find me here on the Michigan Bros Grow Show and Wake and Bake every other Saturday. Oh, and Instagram. Check it out. Sometimes I post pics.
Hi, I'm Baked, and I'm baked.
Really frosty pics too, bro.
Yeah, he does a good job.
Putting up some nice shit.
Got some flower and heading around soon. So
Sweet.
some new ones.
Red, welcome to the show, Red. Always
Hello.
good to have you here, man.
It's always good to be here, everybody. Cheers. Thank you all for tuning in. Red Setter Farm here. You can find me on Instagram, all the same tag, Red Setter Farm. Gmail, Strainly. I'm not active at all on Strainly. Maybe one
Zynga.
day. We'll see. But everywhere, yeah, I suppose. But anyways, the late sesh here on the Michigan Bros Grow Show channel. Find me on Monday nights as well as on Polarity Science. Every Sunday night with Scobo down there. 11:20 p.m. roll there. And you can find me, Michigan events here in the Michigan cannabis scene. Cheers, everybody. Hope everyone is doing well this evening.
Cheers, Red. Thank you for
I
being
see you
here.
down there, Bake. Thank you for showing that.
Nice looking jar there, Baked. Spartan, welcome to the show, sir. I was catching the show prior to this, growing with my fellow growers, and you were on there. You guys were talking a little dry and cure and all that sort of stuff. It's the season, so. But anyway, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm Spartan Grown. You can, if you got to find me, you can find me on Instagram at Spartan Grown. It's all one word. I'm a organic farmer here in the great state of Michigan at home, but when I go to work, I do it synthetically. So I have my foot in both worlds there. So if you don't want to do the social media thing, you can shoot me an email and I can answer questions there too at spartangrown@gmail.com.
We appreciate the perspective that we get from all the commercial growers we have on the panel. I'll say that the knowledge and the scale and keeping up with the laws and all of that stuff. You guys bring a lot to the panel. So thank you for that. Painted Lady, welcome to the show, Painted Lady. She's got her Support Your Caregiver shirt on.
Hi, yeah. Cheers, everybody. Happy Sunday. I just wanted to shout out Katie and her hub's Bones Grown for the cool caregiver shirt. Yeah. And what is it? Stone Grove Collective, I believe, over on Etsy is where she's selling these shirts. So any caregiver that wants to support caregivers, other caregivers, and boycott the MCMA affiliates, here's your shirt. And they're really, really soft and they're really, really cool. They're really nicely fit. So thank you to Katie and her hubs, Bones Grown, over there in Detroit area for the cool shirts. And I am getting ready to smoke on. I've got some Lime Punch from Ferroli and some Tsunami from Dan tonight.
Nice.
So, 2 fucking winners of flavor right there.
Yeah, buddy.
Got the heaters.
Cheers.
I forgot to tell you this, Dan. We were smoking this at work, your Tsunami, which I'll show off real quick.
You have the number 5.
Yeah, I got the number 5, but
Yeah.
I dropped this. It was closed up, but I dropped this container.
Oh,
Looks like a cracked phone screen.
Dude.
Yeah, but it's still, I mean, it
Fucking noob.
fucking held up like a champ.
Fucking
though.
noob.
Nice, dude.
Held up like a champ, though. No problems on the inside.
Oh, what's with all you guys dropping jars? Someone was it Dank Man Dan? Someone dropped
Yeah,
a
I
jar
did.
at the event.
I did.
Oh man.
Ooh.
I dropped.
I
3
heard about
jars.
this,
I
though.
dropped
Oof.
You know,
Joey's
you
jars.
gotta start processing more to get those sticky fingers, you know, rather than those
That's
butter
it.
fingers.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I heard that he dropped a jar and you might have helped him out and replaced the jar for him so he didn't have to recover glass tainted.
Yeah,
dabs.
we don't dab glass.
No, man.
Just fire.
Broly
Right?
hooked me up with many jars when I was there. I think I got 3 jars off for Broly. Thank you very much, man. Appreciate it. I got some right here. Your lime skunk I was dabbing on.
That's my favorite is that lime skunk, but the Durban lime is a big, big second to me. I mean, it's a really close second to me. That Durban lime is really fucking good too.
Boy,
Lime
hard to
skunk,
tell
man.
which which flavor comes out.
Wait, that was called something else. Well, I'm sorry.
Poison lime.
Poison lime, yeah.
Yeah.
It tastes just like Durban to me.
Yeah. It's mostly Durban poison. I just didn't have enough to fill up the old materials column. So, I took a little bit too much for flour. You guys saw that too. But hey, I gotta thank you for reminding me, especially Baked Pone with the red cider jar, because Red gave me a couple rainbow driver joints, and those things were amazing. I immediately that night went home and smoked them on Sunday night while I was listening to the Coyotes in my backyard right before my IG got deleted. But you also gave me an eighth. I forget what the strain is, but I have all this, all my own stuff in front of me, but the eighth from Red and then the two concentrates I got from Dankman Dan are both coming with me to the UP tomorrow. So they're packed away, but I'm excited to experience those up in the wilderness with no cell phone, no Wi-Fi, no internet radio, all that.
Nothing.
Sounds like a good escape.
Nothing to distract you from the dab, man. That's good.
We've been trying to get Rad more exposure on his growing ability for over a year. He had 300 followers forever, even after being on the show. Like, because we say our usernames, but nobody clicks over and clicks the profile or anything like that. So it's been Red, you're muted, by the way. If you're chatting
That's
up.
classic Red.
Yeah.
Of
We've
course,
been trying
I'm
for
over here
years, and he
chatting
can
away.
grow.
Yeah.
So it's nice.
Before I forget that, I'm gonna call it Durban lime again. That poison lime, it's like pine. It's like straight pine needles. Like, it's just so piney in the flavor with the dab, and just open it with the flavor. But I believe I gave you Citrique.
Yes. Yep.
And if so, you're gonna love that one in the woods.
Yeah, because he loves lime.
If you're going
Yeah,
to
the lime, baby.
pines. Yeah, dude. And it's gonna up in there, and it's gonna be great in nature. So,
Yeah, I've had my nose in it. I'm excited.
cool. Oh hell yeah, you're gonna love it.
Yeah, and props, man. That was the first time we got to meet in person at the Croptoberfest, and you had this beautiful display of all the different strains, and there wasn't a single one that didn't look like it belonged on the top shelf. I just kind of wish I could smell them all, but everything I got to try from you was amazing, dude.
Thanks,
Props.
man. I really appreciate it. Same to you as well, man. Some super heat over there on your table as well. That whole little corner was just keeping it warm in the cool Michigan fall weather, man. That's for sure. It was really
And
awesome.
always right behind the free dab, sign is some free dabs at the Free Girly booth. So that was awesome.
Yeah, he was definitely keeping it classy over there.
Well, I think it was kind of cool too, because you had the lime punch with you, which is a cross between the lime skunk and Medgrower One's garlic punch. So
correct. Yeah, and he was there with us, with his seeds and those party boxes and stuff. And I've grown a lot of his strains over the years, but this garlic punch, man, it really stands out because it's an incredible volume producer. So on my runs with the fresh frozen of lime skunk, clementine, not Jilly Bean, that was a outlier, but most of the stuff I ran from this last harvest was coming out all within 3 or 4 grams of each other per run. And I don't know how to quantify this other than saying with the garlic punch run, it was a little bit more garlic punch than it was lime skunk. That one came out with almost a 50% more yield on the extract too. So not only is it very voluminous and pretty in flower, but it dumps in the old BHO tube. So
what creates that? Is that a THC thing or is that something else?
So I think it's definitely a THC thing, and I would liken it to very simple terms, bag appeal, because I'll tell you what, I mean, you guys saw the Durban poison definitely had some bag appeal, but the lime skunk and the clementine, like, you have to get your nose in the jar. They don't look like fantastic, beautiful top shelf plants. They're super turby, they're super flavorful, but you're not getting more than high teens or low 20s on the THC. And that contributes to that. So while the Durban poison might run at 16% THC, it's also running over 4% terpenes, whereas those other strains are running like mid 2s. So you're going to get more of that out of there. But yeah, when it's just it seems like a high THC plant. I haven't tested that strain on its own as flower or extract, so I don't know the terpene profile or the kind of returns on the THC. Whereas I have with, I think, every other strain in my garden.
I'm heating up a dab. Somebody talk.
I will say this is that I got some of the flower of the lime skunk off of Fergroli, and it may not be super frosty and it may not be beautiful, but once you open the grinder up after you've ground it up, man, it'll make you smile every time. I've been trying to be thrifty with it, brother. You know, like only one joint in the morning of it, rather than just get on it and stay on it.
I knew I had to get some of that. That's so good.
I
do
got
feel
2
bad.
grams from them and they were gone in like 2 days.
It's hard to not dip into the cookie jar,
Gone.
man. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, this is so good.
Lime skunk, it was keeping me going all day.
One of my favorite things is to like share that shit with other people that have never had Frugoli stuff
Yeah.
before.
Here, check
It's
it
like
out.
everybody
Yeah.
wants to turn up their nose on BHO, you know what I mean? So we got a guy at work, TJ, and I brought it in, my little Dr. Dabber, and we did I brought the lime skunk in that poison lime. And I can't remember. I think we did the poison lime first. And he hit that and he's like, oh, that's that Durban. That reminds me of Durban. He's like, that is awesome. That's the best. Then he starts, he's like, does this guy process? And he starts asking all these questions. And I'm like, wait a minute, let's try this lime skunk. This lime skunk's the one I like the best. So then he hits that and then he's like, oh, his whole story changes again. Like each one's the best thing he ever had, kind of a thing. So
Hey, we'll see if they want to start a processing center in Flint.
Yeah.
That's why we got him on here, man. Is because we always have people touting all of the good things about rosin, but nobody's ever on here telling everyone how good that BHO can be or how good hydrocarbon can be. So you got to have that perspective rounded out, and obviously we get to experience it, but that only goes so far as to educate somebody on what it is.
There's the craft of it. You know what I mean? There's not just the science, it's the craft and how you actually do it yourself. So really good thing is Frugoli has a lot of videos on his channel. Make sure you guys go check those out. A lot of older content, but still very good. That's my way to poke him and tell him he's got to put some more content out.
I know.
Well, Christmas is coming for Frugoli.
That's
It's almost
true.
time again.
That is true. And I didn't do it last year, so I think I might have to this year.
Right on.
What were you doing, man? You had like some 12 strains of
12 days.
or
12 days of dank.
yeah.
Well, it was the 12 days of wake and bake, and then I
12
started
days of wake and
the
bake.
20 days of 420, which was even
Yeah.
that was quite the challenge.
It's a fun
Yeah.
challenge, though.
It was one of those things where like I can go, but I have enough, I guess, jars right in front of me that I could almost do all 12 days. But I was getting, going to a dispensary or getting stuff donated to me or whatever, and just trying it, putting it out there. But I don't want to support any of that anymore. So I'm gonna have to get with some of you guys and get some of your stuff in there. And I know I'm not going to start filming it this early. So sorry, Dank Man Dan, we're going to have to connect again. Same with you, Red. All your stuff's going to be gone by the end of the week.
Oh, darn.
Right.
Just hit me up if you're coming through.
Oh yeah. I'm definitely planning to at some point soon.
For sure.
I failed to even look at your flower, man. I always do that. Like I'll walk by and I'll always look at like items that I'm unfamiliar with or something that I don't see all the time or something like that. And I'm always over glancing people's flower, and just because I think that it's just I'm always surrounded by flower, I think. And I'm glad that at least a few people in the group did get a chance to get a look at what you got growing on over there, because I know you're at it and you're a hard worker just like the rest of us, man, and growing some really good stuff. Fire in, fire out, right?
It's true. And I got 6 or 7 years of experience with each of those 3 strains I was able to bring. But I process so much of my stuff. It's like kind of a challenge for me to really just set stuff aside for more than just patience. So that might have been the first event in like 3 or 4 years that I honestly had any flower, because it just there's so much of a focus on the harvesting, processing, and packaging leading up to these events that it's just like, you can hang some and leave it in a room to dry or whatever for a couple of weeks, but the timing of that it just never works out.
That's why I jumped in that lime skunk on day one, man.
To prep for these events, I mean, the packaging alone is very laborious, and making sure you have your labels together. It's a
accuracy.
big deal. And shout out to Red, because your stuff looks so amazing at that
Shout out to
event.
Becca.
Yeah, Becca.
Shout out
too.
to Becca for keeping all Red shit together.
Center team. They're a great team.
I did a lot of the label work and all that stuff. She did all the packaging, man. All the packaging, all of the pre-roll making, all that fine stuff that gets
all the vending, all the setup. all the teardown.
She is, man. I love it. I love it. She really is an incredibly enthusiastic, hard worker, man. It's great.
That's
To
like
have
goes
someone like that in the team.
oh shit, my dab rig's going off. I'm gonna come back to this thought. Sorry.
Good God.
True
That's
professional.
priorities right there. No, that's
Absolutely.
priorities.
I can dig it.
Proper dabber.
She is, man. You know, and it was a great. I suppose we can just keep fading out of the afterglow of this thing, because why not? You know, it was the probably last big hurrah of the season. You know what I mean? Until we got the death of winter. Has everybody finished harvest? I hope so, man. We finally got frost. You know, we totally had frost this morning. It was icy out. you could see who's got furnaces or grow ops in their attics this morning. You know, frost was shimmering on the roofs, and you know, it was it's here. You know, fall is officially awakened, or the dormancy's upon us, and we're about to close down. So I mean, it's time to reflect on the garden.
Does that have something to do with the planet, Red?
Next year? Yeah, totally. You know, the
Retrogrades
Just
or
kidding.
something.
Hydrogrades.
but you know, anybody have some good
Well, you set us up
afterthoughts?
for the topic, Red, is
Yeah,
what
yeah.
you did.
Absolutely.
But we have to go back to
Space.
Fergoli first
Totally.
because he didn't get to finish his point. But he
Yeah,
did get to finish his dab.
Dab's priority, guys. You guys are right. No, I just wanted
to the Clio.
no. This is more about just like the individual responsibilities of each one of us, and you know, our significant others and our team and whoever might make up, you know, the people surrounding us. Because you guys talking about packaging and stuff and how kind of intense that can get. I mean, the night before the 2019 Detroit Cannabis Cup, where I won those, I had a team of, I think, 4 or 5 of us, and we were in the hotel in Detroit still packaging. Like, and I don't know, 2 weeks ago, like a week before the event, I'm like panicking because I'm looking through my ink, you know, from my inkjet printer and all the Avery labels, making sure I got enough. And it's just like, you know, they got for Amazon Prime because I don't even have time to run to Best Buy or something to go get them. You know, it's just, yeah, there's a lot to stay on top of. Each and every one of us is an entrepreneur in our own right. And I commend us all, quite frankly. It's a challenge.
And it's hard to hold back flour when you're trying to process for large mass amounts of people. You know, you tend to give your whole garden to the extraction and leave yourself very few flowers to smell.
Well, the thing is that, you know, just to dovetail off your point, is that it's easier for you, especially, let's talk about that 2019 show for Growly. You sold every single jar in the first day. And then when we seen you at the Russell, it was sold out super, super quick too. So
yeah, it was 5.5 hours on that Saturday. And so, you know, we had all these banners up that said free dabs and stuff, and we even ran out of that. We were cracking jars that, you know, haven't even left our shelf yet. And just to give away more free dabs, because we had went through what we brought for that. And then, you know, ran out in 5.5 hours. I'm like, well, we got to show up on Sunday. That's the award ceremony. Like, you know, can't skip out on that. So I guess we'll just go down to, you know, the random gas station between the hotel and the shuttle and buy out the gas station of water because it was hot as shit. And we just handed out free water.
That was great though, dude. It was. I remember I got some water from you guys.
Kick ass.
Alternatively, you know, in retrospect, you could have gotten like a bunch of Delta 8 and probably peddled that.
he said he went to the gas station, not that he was the gas station. Come on.
I figured that Delta 8 was going to follow up the gas station.
I don't even know if it was around then, was it?
No, I don't think so.
No.
I hadn't heard of it at that point.
Yeah, no way. No, it's just CBD and penis enlargement pills, I think, at that point.
They come in little packs, right?
I don't know. I wouldn't know.
Stackers.
Tried to set him up for the joke and he didn't take it.
Nice try, though, Skilbo.
It was worth the effort. So Red did mention our topic for this evening, which is, you know, the seasons are changing. The frost is coming. Hopefully, like you said, that you guys have got your outdoor at least cut, even if it's not processed and trimmed and everything else yet. But I had mentioned this evening that maybe we could talk about some things on if you guys make any kind of environmental changes in your room or any kind of changes whatsoever in between seasons.
Well, winter season is our historical indoor happy period of time when we get to grow indoors and really enjoy it. Sometimes using the outdoor air to cool it down for free. Lots of different things that we can utilize in the winter that we can't do in the summertime. I know that I can take the humidifiers or the dehumidifiers in a lot of cases out of the different grow spaces because the air is so dry. It just depends on what you got to do. You got to throw your heaters in there though.
My Dehu is currently shut off in my outdoor drying space because the air got so dry. It's down in the 50s, so plenty dry for me.
Like 2 weeks ago, you were complaining that you couldn't get it dry at all.
Oh, it was 80% 2 weeks ago. Yeah, and that wasn't because of the biomass. That was, it's a massive space I'm drying in. That was because of the ambient relative humidity. Now it's much lower. So if you're in, what are we, like zone 5A, something like that, the southeast Michigan area, we're low humidity right now. We got rain coming, but still not enough to raise the ambient humidity. Relative to the temperature in your house, it's probably like 60, 70 degrees. It's still low, relatively low. It's probably the 60% tops. It might creep up 70 with the rain, but not like it was when it was raining for 3 weeks straight. It was just massively saturated. It's not saturated right now.
Make the sound baked.
Not like it is out west.
Boo, boo, boo. Give him Spartan.
I was banning them from the channel while Spartan was
It was a triple
perfect.
team.
Yeah, it's just whatever my screen shows first. You're gonna get the credit.
Oh, now I see Abolish name too.
Yeah, it came up
Better
later.
watch out, man. They're cutting in on Skillbow's fucking game there. Oh,
Yeah,
he gets
man.
a Snapchat.
So
Oh, shit.
who else? I've heard it mentioned on the show before, but who else is growing in an uninsulated outbuilding?
Oof.
I am.
Yeah, I think it was you, Red, that I heard you mention this several weeks ago. And a couple things I do to combat that, other than obviously add a heater or two, and watch what type of heaters you use. The infrared ones will add some serious light. Got to be careful with those, even though they work extremely well. Milk house ones are nice. They're cheap, just not good for big areas. The other thing I do is, so I have a veg tent, and I usually exhaust that hot air coming out of that tent out of the building. I actually duct it back into the building, not into the grow spaces, but just into the surrounding area. And it does a really good job, 18 hours a day.
Like as a lung room or whatever.
Yeah.
Or just to keep it warm.
Just to
like
keep
a
the whole
middle
building
room.
warm. Yeah. I'm not pulling because they are sealed rooms, technically. And then the other thing I wanted to talk about and get your guys' opinions on is how many times have you guys had outdoor condensers freeze up on you for your mini splits? Because I have.
I've heard of it happening. I don't have a mini split yet, but especially if you have an area where the snow can build up on it, I've heard that you got to clear them off pretty often.
So
That's all I know.
Actually use I use forced air conditioners. So I have like a forced air 5-ton unit with outdoor air condensers, like a little box fan style, home AC style. We did run into the situation the other day at work where the outdoor is shut off because it was so cold. We still have the AC running at work because we're keeping product cool and stuff like that. But mainly what I have installed on my unit is called a low ambient kit, and that allows my air conditioner to operate at lower than normal operating temperatures. So it'll operate at like, I think, negative 20 degrees Fahrenheit if it needs to. Typical home ACs won't operate below, I think, freezing. And that's usually to protect the condensers and stuff like that. But I think that there's possibly a way that you could get a low ambient kit put on your mini split, to prevent that. I don't know. I'm not a HVAC tech, but maybe there's an HVAC tech out there that knows whether or not you can get a low ambient kit put on.
You shouldn't need one, should you? You can use a mini split as a heater. So they should be usable.
Well, if
plenty
it
fine
comes
in the
with
cold.
that, using it as a AC though.
Yeah, so they have
heater
both.
is a heat pump inside. Your outdoor condenser is not running when it's just operating as a heater. I don't believe. I'm not sure about that, but I don't think it works.
I don't think so either, because it'd be
Also.
exchanging the hot air, basically pushing it outside. I will say, so years ago, as part of the Grow Tube, I and several others received a Quest 185 as part of a sponsorship and kind of to provide feedback on them and everything. And I might be the most northern person that got one. And so I was in touch with the rep over several years, still am, but regarding the 185, they don't sell them anymore. But the cool thing about the Quest 185 Cool is 185 pints a day. It was a dehumidification power. This thing is massive. It takes 2 or 3 people really safely to get it up where you're going to put it. But it has an outdoor, like a mini split. It has an outdoor condenser, compressor. I always get those words jumbled. I forget which one it is, but a condenser has an outdoor condenser. So instead of adding heat to your garden, it actually adds 4,000 BTU of cooling. The problem is they weren't really designed for sub freezing temperatures outside, and we kept experiencing them freezing up. And if your condenser freezes up outside because of the wind and cold and other elements, precipitation or what have you, well, you don't have any more dehumidification. And when you got like a 20 light room going, you know what I mean? Quick panic there.
Goodbye dehumidification. Hello powdery mildew.
Oh, bro, you know how quickly I built a doghouse around that thing and just put as many heaters as I could inside
yeah,
of it.
man.
Yeah. And that worked. It actually got it running again. But so that's one of the tips, I would give to those of you that might experience that in the frigid north and some of those like 2 or 3 day spells that we have. It's happened, I think, 2 or 3 times over the last 4 or 5 years that I've had this thing. Never with my air conditioners. They might not run as efficiently, but never had them like straight up shut off like that. But yeah, build a little doghouse to keep the elements off of it. But you got to be careful. You want to make sure you have it clear to actually push all that air away. You don't want to have it, working against itself. And then another thing I've heard, but I haven't tried, is to actually just take like a piece of cardboard and pin it or zip tie it to like half of the back of your condenser. And maybe there's someone out there on this panel or in chat that could explain that better, but I think it has something to do with like,
there's an HVAC guy, Thunder Dan in chat's giving you some help. I'm sure he will answer your question in a few seconds.
Yeah. So what happens if you block like half the intake? It just
makes it run warmer, you would think.
You did answer how the mini splits run in the heat setting. They cut the outdoor condenser fan off so the refrigerant can retain heat. The outdoor unit does run in heat mode, so he knows
if it has a heat mode.
My unfortunate
that is something I noticed in the wintertime.
So probably don't block it, he's saying for Goalie.
Okay. I've never tried it, like I said, but I've been told it works. So
well, just think about this: is I think most of us on the panel were growers when 7 years ago we had that spell where it was like -30, and you had to worry about pipes freezing and everything else.
When that happens, I just worry about losing power. That's it.
That's every day up north here.
3 years ago.
I should buy a generator so I don't worry about it anymore. But
I have done that.
I like just worrying about
fall,
it,
man.
I like
figure
to worry.
out what size, like not just for your grow, but I mean for you warriors out there that grow first, you can sleep in it. Figure out how much you're going to be pulling from the wall, and then keep your eye on Craigslist or something like that, or maybe something will come up where you're like, hey man, I really don't want to buy this product X from say Menards or something, but would I rather roll the dice on something cheap for a year or two just until I can keep my environment straight and then save my money up and get a better unit, or should I just wait and then roll the fucking dice the sequence way?
I would say if you're on a budget and you get something from say Craigslist and it's used or something like that, make sure you're prepared to clean it and change proper filters and do the proper thing for not introducing somebody else's bacteria or mildew or spores, which is very difficult to clean. So I avoid certain types of equipment that might be used.
Even a generator, you'd feel that way about it, even though it's outside?
That's gonna be outside. I would totally get a generator, but in general, even on and around the property, you know what I mean. Just be mindful of what you're bringing in. whether that's
I like to buy all my grow equipment used off of Craigslist.
Ooh.
That way I get to solve whatever problem they had before they sold it.
Yeah,
Just
but
get it
I
from
think
the
I'm like
police
the ultimate
auction.
boss.
Like, oh, this guy had PM.
what's
Sherlock
growing without
shopping.
challenges?
just got a bunch of lights that were at an auction, but I wouldn't go for the fans or any of that kind of stuff. You know, somebody was
Are you
kinda asking
ducting?
about that. Yeah, a lot of that stuff I just kind of ignored. You know, even the
Dude, you almost
some
got
of
me on that fucking ducting bit.
even some of the electrical sensoring components and stuff like that. You know,
If it was in the
some of
room,
the
is what
stuff.
you mean. Yeah.
Well, you know, if it's a couple seasons or cycles old, you know, it's been through ultraviolet rays, it's been through humidity swings, temperature swings, and stuff like that. Those electronics have seen some moisture, all kinds of stuff. You know what I mean? So, I mean, unless you're an electronics tech or no one, you know, you might want to source relatively new a lot of stuff.
What is the worst possible piece of equipment to get used? I'm slightly leaning towards like dehumidifier or something like that, where just mold and
Yeah.
stuff can get trapped, and then you're just blowing it all over your room. You know,
I would think it like a window AC or a dehu,
Yeah,
something like
old
that.
nasty window. Yeah.
Somebody else's shop vac, their wet vac.
I just try to
Yeah.
tell everybody
Wow.
to start out new if you can with everything, you know, bite the bullet.
Or buy stuff that's in the box, you know, at
Yeah.
least.
Absolute worst would be underwear. That's the worst thing I can think of used.
did you use that for scrog netting or?
Some people pay a lot for that, Spartan.
The
That
lace
is
for the
true.
scrog net.
I need to,
Fill
you know.
up those
E. coli test very fast.
Got to get in on that game.
Fail for
Yeah,
micro.
microbials.
Funny.
Microbials would be terrible.
That's true.
Turd terps.
Spartan, you should do that. I mean, with all your, you know, people all over,
I don't know what you're talking
all your
about.
fans.
I don't know what you're talking
you're
about. He
fans.
says.
You might
Explain
wanna
to me
buy
what
your-
you're talking about.
You might want to buy.
Nate's gonna sip a Sprite.
You know, Kermit.
Right. Some of that mint and canico turp.
Corey,
Can
this is
go.
bath
Lemon
water
turp.
for sale.
Oh.
There
I
you
don't know
go.
what you're
Why-
talking
why
about.
do your
Used
plants smell
mattress
bath water?
stores. Yikes. We did have a question in chat from Corey. Who is popping something new, or what are you hyped to pop next? I popped the dog patch that Baked got me. It seemed like all 13 of them popped, and I threw them in the ground.
What's the cross on that?
Chem D and Chem 91. So super excited for that. And then I popped 2 white weddings. That's wedding cake and mandarin.
Because you really
cookies.
like that one that you had, was it
Yeah,
2 years ago?
incredible. Big fan, yeah. So hopefully I get something similar to that.
That was a one.
I remember that I said that I was out and I didn't have any of the seeds left, and I like to strain a lot. So a viewer, I can't remember what viewer sent me those seeds. Somebody was very nice and sent me those seeds because I didn't have them. I wish I could shout them out, but I can't. I'm brain damaged.
I'm also popping some seeds, but I haven't done it yet, but I will be this week.
Pop, pop.
What's it going to be?
I am, funny enough, I'm also popping my last 2 white wedding that I have from Ethos. And then I have a couple Irie, I think that I'm going to do. I'm going to do some biscotti and a rise. And I can't remember what he calls that one. And then the other one is Jack the Ripper and a rise. I think I'm going to do those 2. And then I'm thinking about possibly doing citral glue that somebody was nice enough to give me in an exchange for, I don't remember what I sent him. I think I sent him some Sweet Insanity. I think that's what we exchanged. So yeah, so some citral.
I'm a big fan of the citral.
I have smoked that before. I think.
Yeah.
That's insanity. Yeah, man.
Oh, I
Hey,
thought
I'm
you were
pretty
talking
fucking
about
high over
citral
here.
glue.
I'm
Me
like,
at least
I'm
one
in the
time.
cut, man. I'm good.
I thought you were making a joke about the citral glue. I was like, yeah,
No.
you've grown it for like half a year.
You said the Sweet Insanity?
Yeah, sweet insanity.
Man,
I,
I really
think
liked,
Eagle grew it, and
That's
we
what
got
it
to
was.
Sample it or whatever.
Okay.
liked it a lot. And
Or was that Insane in the Membrane? Maybe it was that one.
Oh, that's
can't
true.
remember.
I don't think I ever smoked that one. I never got a chance to do that one or grow that one, but yeah.
I got a
that's what
chance
I've got coming up.
to smoke some OGOGO, which that was part of that ethos giveaway shit too. I
Yeah.
love that stuff, man. That's
That was the
great
first
flavor.
multi-pass drop. Yeah.
Man, I only could get males out of that. I was bummed. That's one of the first ones I picked out and wanted to run, and I only got males out of it. Super vigorous plant, but
Lots
Not-
of balls.
yeah, too many
Dropping
balls.
balls.
It was really good clementine.
Balls or
Growly.
sacks or bags.
For Growly's Clem is like unmatchable.
So good.
It's insane.
I really
It's
like
still the best
That was
I've
his
ever had.
in the very beginning. You know,
Insane.
he talked about GrowTube earlier, and I do want to give a shout out. And I've done this several times before, but I mentioned Med Grower as well. GrowTube Roundtable was this show before this show was this show.
Yeah.
And you know, he's talking about all the things and the transparency and stuff is what led me to really want to start this show. And you know, so it's all love here. That's all I wanted. I just wanted to throw that out there real quick, man. You know.
And I was thinking the other day after he got banned on Instagram, I was like,
yeah,
for Growly's got this sweet setup, these sweet lights in the back when we get him on here, these cool shades and the microphone and all this shit.
He's
He
got a
doesn't get
beard.
to use it anymore.
Color changing,
Got
man.
a
The
fucking
background color
beard.
change is class.
So I was like, for Growly, would you like to be in a regular guest on our show? And he said, sure.
Bring you back to the spotlight.
Yeah, man.
There he is dancing.
Hey, you guys can say that about GrowTube, but we always say that about Hash Church, to be honest, you know.
Right. It just
There's
keeps
always
going
I think
back.
there's
and
that,
back.
yeah, every show has a show before it, right?
Hash Church
Whatever.
is still going, man. That's perspective.
Yeah, for sure. A lot of the same panelists too, man.
Back to the question on the new genetics, I'm kind of running the same theme. I was thinking about it already, but the stuff that I've already popped is all gifts to me. And the stuff that I have coming up is all gifts to me. So I'm running that same kind of theme, which just makes me smile even more. But right now in veg, I have an Orange Dream Haze, which was gifted to me. I have a, which I'm excited for. It's like a 9-week haze. So that's interesting. And citrusy, super citrusy.
I like it. Tell me
like
more.
Orangey. And then I have from Brandon Rust, I have the Limerilla, which is GG4 times Black Lime Reserve. And that crossed with Mac. So I think he's calling it Limelight is the strain on that. So I've got that going. I've got from 2020, they sent me the version 2 snow cane. So the F2s where they took my winning cut on the F1 and they smashed it against California's cut. And so that's the V2. And I got those going.
I'm stoked for that.
That's what I'm popping.
I have a sparkle face going indoor, which is different from the pheno I grew outdoor. And then, so those are all growing. And then my next 2 that I've got coming up to pop is I'm going to do the Newberry from DJ Short, which was gifted to me by Old Man Hermit Hash. And then I want to pop, it's just called, it was just, I had to get a hold of Kyle. It's funny because I had to get a hold of Kyle anyway, and Tara reminded me today. So it gave me a reason to DM him. But some of the seeds that he gifted me was just called Breeder Special. I'm like, what the fuck is Breeder Special? So he tells me today that Breeder Special is his original F1s of New England rock candy that you can't even get anymore.
The
So,
Kyle he's talking about is pure breeding.
Yeah, for
Previously,
breeding.
yeah, predicated breeding before.
Wow.
So
You are
I'm gonna
so
pop those
lucky.
for sure. I'll be popping those right after Newberry, or maybe the same day as Newberry.
I have one seed that M2 gifted me of that New England rock candy Kush, and I have not done a thing with it because I've been waiting for the right time for it. That's something
I'll tell
special.
you, Spartan, if you pop Newberry before both Old Man and Red,
it's
I
gonna
will
be
fucking die
great,
laughing,
man.
dude.
They were talking about it too at the fucking show. They were like, "Have you popped yours yet? You didn't pop yours, did you?" No. They've had these beans for what, 4 years now, right?
It's kind of like what Spartan was talking about in the pre-show about how Bake
They're
keeps
legacy
buying
beans.
seeds but can't pop them
For-
as fast as he can
They're
buy
for
them.
somebody else. They're not for me.
Yeah.
Nobody's bought them off me yet.
They're not for you. Okay.
Oh, I forgot. I also have
Very tough
Banana
to stay
Daddy.
on top of the
I brought in
seed
that
game.
Banana Daddy cut too, so I've got that. So I got all kinds of new shit. I cut out Spartan glue, so that's gone. I've got one more harvest of that, and that's finally gone. Because I have GG4 back in the garden, and I grew them side by side, and I was like, I can't have both of these, and I like GG4 better. I just made the decision. So
I kind of want to run that snow cane.
The
The
V2s
original
or
one or the version 2?
Whatever. Yeah.
I
Yeah,
said I can
the
get you a
V2s
cut of
are-
the, I can get you a cut of-
Whatever.
Because we
Yeah.
have seeds, I think, still, and I still have seeds of version 2 if you want the feminized seeds.
Yeah.
But if you want the cut, I can get you that too. I can get you
What's
the version
better?
1, the V1 cut.
Oh, dude,
The V1 cut was
V1
super frosty,
is
and he
Oh,
won
really,
a light with
really
it, and
great
it's
wake
got
and
quite
bake
the story in the
strain.
show. I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah, man. But the thing is we're interested to see what happens in version 2 because it's
True.
being smacked back against what the keeper cut from the breeder itself. It could
So,
be really
yeah,
exciting
my-
to see what comes out this time.
The one when I picked the cut that I picked was the cut that was like it was the unicorn as far as it was different than everything else, way different than everything else that I popped out of that 15 pack. It was super frosty, super bag appeal, but it was a little weak on the terp department. It was like a subtle back end strawberry, was what I kind of call it, gassy with back end strawberry. And then but they said that the one that they picked to breed with it was like the opposite. It didn't have the potency and as much frost, but it had the terps. So it makes me really excited for the version 2, and that's what I'm going to be hunting. And if I find something that feels better than the version 1, I'll just replace it. I don't need to keep both.
That Spartan way, man. Duke it out.
Hell yeah, man. I'm not keeping stuff I keep the best shit that I grow. So
We
Right, you
should
can't keep 'em
have
all.
some of those V2 seeds still, but I don't know where they are. So I'll have to look.
We gave some of those out to some people. Yeah.
Well, yeah, different people on the panel have them, but
Yeah.
the rest of them I have somewhere and I don't know where they are, but I'll find them.
Yeah, I actually fucked mine up. I had them all going, and it was in a
What?
makeshift veg room, and it got too cold in there because I was also drying in that same area.
They just stun it out.
Yeah, so I'm gonna need another pack of those, but I definitely do want to run them because everything that I've ran that's in that lineage has been amazing.
Oh, yeah.
I'll jump in before I start my dab rig again. The only thing that I have fresh in my garden currently is similar to Spartan, a gifted pack. It was Mr. Clean from Exotic Genetics. So I run, Lime Skunk, Exotic Genetics, been running that since I think 2015 or thereabouts. Mr. Clean is Lime Skunk crossed with the Cube, and the Cube, I believe, is a back cross of Starfighter. So what I would love to do, and I know I have only 2 of them, they're both in veg, both from seed, maybe been topped once at this point. I know one of them is a male. I would love to find a way to do some sort of, I don't even know what you'd call it, but basically sort of back crossing my Lime Skunk that's 7+ years old with this fresh Mr. Clean, which is Lime Skunk and Starfighter essentially. Just to see what happens. I don't do any breeding.
easiest way probably just to grow that in its own little tent and just collect pollen from it. And then you can just paint that on and just do a little at a time, instead of having to do a whole plant's worth of seeds, which is fucking a lot of work.
I don't want to rain on your parade, but I do want to give you the info. Exotics found a lot of herm tendencies with the cube, and they stopped breeding with it. That's why you didn't see them continue it on after that run they did of it. So if you're going to breed with it too, make sure you look for that stuff.
Yeah, good to know, because obviously the Lime Skunk I got is a winner, but these are it's a brand new thing in my garden, so who knows? We'll see.
Yeah, that's them adding the cube to it. So
before we move away from this topic, we talked about this sequence before. When he did his cross, he collected the pollen, and then we didn't really explain what happens. So you take this pollen, and then you can go in and you can paint that onto individual buds, and then as the
you
plant
put
grows,
the boy parts on the girl parts. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. It's like some whole birds and the bees thing, but I guess it's
You
birds
take
and
the
buds.
balls and you rub them on the twats, and then you get seeds.
Boy.
How long does that normally take?
Like 3 to 5 seconds. Or you mean the plants?
So
Steak,
when you,
ladies.
so when
Sorry, I couldn't refuse.
That's the best.
Oh fuck, man. No, but the thing is, did you find that when you did that in the flower room, did you see any stray pollen? Did you see any seeds created from any other plant when you did that? Did you have any tips or secret?
The seed experience that I did outside because I knew that if I did it indoor, I would have that problem. If you're going to do it indoors, do it like inside of a bag or something like that to help contain all of that. Turn all your fans off. You can do a lot of shit. Dust the area with water because water neutralizes pollen, or keep water on hand just in case you get any out of the way. But I did mine outside. So I had I had male pollen. I didn't even have a male, but I had male pollen that I brushed on one branch of mine, and I didn't get any cross contamination to any other branches. So that was kind of cool. So even the wind wasn't an issue, and it didn't contaminate anything indoors either. So that was perfect. But
It's perfect because Narwhal's in chat right now. He's the one that you.
Narwhals ran some of them, yeah.
Yeah.
He had some of them herm, and then some of them didn't. I had some of them. I didn't have any herm when I grew them. So
What did you?
I want to
find
make
from it?
more seeds. Yeah, I liked it. I didn't keep clones or grow any more of it or whatever, but that's fine.
Did you see a couple of different phenotypes when you did it, or was it kind of?
They were actually pretty similar. Both of them turned purple. They're both kind of tall and took a little longer to flower. They were crescendo crosses. They went like 70 days. They were very similar in those aspects. They looked about the same.
Almost has time.
Got some new stuff going on. Well, popped it a couple weeks ago. It's going pretty good. The monkey head from Mantis Genetics. It's gorilla blood times their Lucille's OG, which has been in a lot of the Mantis stuff I've had floating around and other people ran. It should come out as a 1-to-1, which would be nice to finally get one of those that I really, really like. I haven't found any keepers over the years. 1-to-1 seem to give a really, really nice medicated buzz, I guess would be the best way to explain it. I don't feel to anything. You just feel good.
That reminds me of I think one of you guys grow this Flow, the strain Flow.
Red. Yeah.
Yeah, man. That strain was like guaranteed, whether you were down or up, it was just gonna center you every time I smoked it.
Yeah. It's very good for that. It's very good for that.
Clementine.
DJ Short.
I believe that we have the Dutch Passion version of that one. Not that, but I don't know, man. That's stories through the stories. I love the glow on that right now.
Get it to focus, would you?
Oh man,
On cue.
Pretty
Bang.
good. Pretty good.
beautiful.
It's like, geez, all that equipment and shit over there.
Yeah, what you don't know is this Logitech webcam is legit from like 2005.
What's the most that you've ever dabbed in one day for Growly?
Oh, good question.
Ooh. For sure over a gram, probably very unlikely ever over like 3 grams or anything like that. I mean, I could hit a gram in a day probably pretty regularly, to be honest with you. But I don't know, lately I've been switching it up a lot. Like I smoked a bowl before the show, and then I brought my Puffco down here because I knew there's going to be hash time, and taking dabs is easy, you know, so but yeah, I don't know, probably it's not a crazy amount. It's probably more like, you know, I've had maybe 11 different like flavors of dabs in one day, you know.
That makes sense.
I used to do.
Explain to me how those people can do those long snake things. Like, and then you see the people that are just like, keep doing it. I just.
Some people don't cough. I don't know how, but that's it.
Yeah, I've seen those, like a lot of those YouTube videos years ago, you know, when people are just going for the shock value or whatever. They just have a really hot nail or two. Sometimes they do 2 nails at a time because it takes that, you know, much to get through it. But you know, if you put this thing on a low temp, or you know, you dab in low temps, if you take too big of a dab, you're going to see that oil just puddle there, and you have to like reheat it or something just to get the, you know, the rest of it. Whereas, you know, in that case, they're definitely not doing that. So I guess the most I've done probably myself in one dab was actually recently at the Clio Cultivation Cup a few months ago. My buddy was there, Professor Dabs, and he's got this thing called a space hit where he takes like distillate, rosin, BHO, and I feel like there's a fourth one in there, but basically combines them
Like
all.
THCA or something?
Yeah, maybe that's what it is. But he combines it all in this little like 3rd gram ceramic bucket, and you just heat up your nail or your rig or whatever, and you drop it in, and you just go and go and go until it doesn't go anymore. So that's probably the wildest like one dab I've done. But I'm more about just like the flavor, quite frankly. It's not really about like doing crazy shit for me.
That's the Long Island iced tea of dabs.
That's
a good idea.
That's a good way of putting it.
That's what it sounds like anyway.
I used to do my age and dabs every year. I've
Now you're
grown
getting too
out
old
of it.
now.
I'm an adult now, so I don't do that. Did anyone else see Red about shoot his eye out with his torch?
Yeah.
I did see
No,
that.
I
was
did
wondering
not.
what was going
I
on.
was
It's
waiting.
like the little boy that discovered his pecker for the first time. It's so entertaining.
It does that whenever it gets freshly filled. You gotta like get
Your pecker?
Your pecker?
Yeah.
Freshly filled.
You gotta get the dust out of it. There it is.
Oh,
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah,
we're
blow the
trying to
carbon out of
You
it.
gotta get the dust off.
This
the
is a
top.
family show, right?
Yeah, fuck.
You gotta get the
Joe,
gotta get the
good job,
grease-
eh?
Grease out of it.
Jeez.
About to have another beard on fire accident, or maybe a ponytail on fire.
Yeah.
Don't do
Yeah.
that.
Nobody
You're in the-
forgets, Spartan.
Keep
Nobody
water on
forgets.
deck.
If you're in the chat, a little reminder, pop over
Lots
to
of
live
water.
chat instead of top chat. Red held up the sign, but people always get to the last end of the show and be like, shit, I'm in top chat. We got hash time here in 3 minutes. I got the
Yes,
song
sir.
queued up so we can. So now we have a song for Growly so that when we're heating up nails and stuff, we don't have to like. We used to have trouble because somebody was having to try to fill space while other people were trying to operate.
You guys just gave up on it. I noticed that last week. I'm
Now we
working
got
on
a
Classy
that.
solution,
song. We
man.
got
It's classy.
we had a problem and now we have a solution thanks to our friends at Catachronics. Stoney's in the chat. Thank you, Stoney. And hash time. It's the best song too. They took
So I wanna-
putting hash on eggs.
I want to ask you guys that got to try all these because these like in front of me. I got all the same flavors that were at the Croptoberfest: clementine, sauce or live resin, lime skunk sauce or live resin, lime punch, orange sangria. I already did poison lime twice. So out of the rest of those, what do you guys think? Is it
Lime
punch
skunk
time?
sauce.
Lime
Lime
skunk.
punch
Big
sauce.
big flavor.
We're picking your dab for hash time.
Yeah, it sounds like
Yeah,
it.
I'm
That's
with
what I
them.
went for.
Like that. I'd
There's a
pick
question for you
clementine
in
rosin.
chat for Growly after
Chat,
after
pick a
hash
side.
time. We got a
Yes.
good one.
Yeah, man.
Astro Charlie has a question, and unknowingly, he's got the exact person on the panel to answer this
To
question.
answer this very question.
Yeah, so after hash time, we'll hit up your question, Astro Charlie.
Easy one.
Now
It is
see
a
how
very
close we
easy
were.
one.
We'll see how close we were to the 10 o'clock mark so that there's no real dead space here and I don't have to keep vamping and everybody's showing off nice jars.
I got
And
the-
I'm just really
Yeah.
glad that everybody decided to join
I'm
us.
not
and
going to
hang out
bother
tonight,
spotlighting
man.
all 8 people at once.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's just too fancy.
I got
now,
a
man.
pack of seeds, liked sequence. I can't remember who gifted them to me. Some golden goat.
Oh, no,
Eerie.
Spartan, you
It's
lost
like
a piece.
half a
Oh,
pack of
no.
golden goat.
You'd have
Oh,
to smoke that
That's
one.
gonna get packed in my That's gonna get popped in my next round.
Golden goat.
As well as I'm gonna go back to the PB souffle and get a bunch more of those femmes popped and
Dude, I have more of those seeds if you're
Get in.
interested.
get into my archive.
So you can do like a huge run on that if you want.
Well,
Old man says
we could do a
hashtag.
huge run of that one of these days.
Loran oil in the water.
Go for a
Gross.
sequence. Do that.
Get the music.
Gross. Can you
Want
hear
some of
it?
that PB souffle when you get done with it. I absolutely love that strain. You only had it for a minute.
I'm not going for a purple punch leaner. I'm trying to find that peanut butter leaner again. That sucker was great. That was like super.
How's the hash time volume?
Super peppery, man.
Pretty good.
Crank up the level on that bad boy a little bit. Bring it up a little. Yeah, there you go.
Funny how you get two opposite answers every time you ask a question. Oh, it's
Yeah,
good.
man.
No, turn it up. No, turn it down.
I can't hear anything you're saying, so if you're talking to me,
I always need it to be turned up. I don't know.
That's weird. I can hear you guys better.
I'm saying. Turn it up.
Brad, I really dig this fucking pipe, man. The little clay one, man.
Oh, a little one hitter, man.
Yeah, man. It's nice. I just put a little teeny bit of fucking bud in the bottom of it, and then just stick the actual chillum in the fucking jar. Staff it full, and away I go.
The way, man. It's like an old dugout, you know. It's a little bit bigger than a dugout hole, right?
Yeah, man.
Maybe a quarter size bigger, right? And then packs up good solid 3, 4, 5 hits out of that, man.
It's gonna be a nice traveler, man. Like, so when your boy Skilbo's got to go out of fucking state and start being a little more discreet. Looks like I'm just carrying a branch around. Hey,
Shout
what's
out
that
to
old man got that
Yellow
branch for?
Tree clay, yellow tree clay. For that, it makes some very cool items. When I have my funds right, I want to get with him. Talk about making all kinds of
Getting a
stuff.
few more, yeah, man.
Well, not just that. I got some other ideas in the works.
Red's always got a couple ideas in the works, guys. Innovation.
Becca's got some ideas too, so I'm trying to help her out with some ideas.
Baked's digging it up there. He's dancing to it. I see him.
Oh, yeah.
There you go. Got a shimmy going on up there. I was gonna ask Spartan how that Dr. Dabber's treating him and all that good stuff, but you know.
I was gonna tell everybody, don't forget to swab.
Don't forget to swab.
Yeah, I totally just roasted raw dog with a dab by
Swab it
accident.
out.
Blew her hair back.
I forgot she was on my lap, and I totally just blew it right down in her face. And she was like,
Holy shit. That
What?
smells good.
Dan, it was tsunami, and she sat back down in my lap, and she's just sitting down. So she approves.
Awesome. I'm glad you guys enjoy.
Dan,
I
what do you
really
think about that
enjoyed
tsunami?
the Clementine is just phenomenal. I mean, it just sticks on my palate for so long.
Definitely one of
Hey,
those to
something
blow out the
stole my
news.
tree. Sorry for girly. Go ahead.
Wait, who stole whose tree?
I was answering Kazu in chat. He said that you and I, for girly, have brother trees. Apparently, you have one of
from
his
Kazu?
little saplings. I
From
had
the
a
state.
sapling.
Yeah, when we were in Lansing.
You know, with the fuck MCMA sticker on the pot, and I don't. Maybe you got one. Maybe you didn't. I got one.
I do. It's I need to bring that thing inside actually, now that I think about it. It's still sitting on my porch right now. It's covered in everything, but it's getting a little cold.
Mine was getting a little cold, getting a little purple. It was still looking good though. Leaves hadn't fallen or done anything. And we're gonna do the same. Things have been slowly coming in. Something uprooted it and it's just gone. In its place, they traded, I suppose. This was a trading society that's going on in the animal kingdom in my backyard. So they left me with a small nibbled on tomato, green tomato, mind you. Had one small bite. I think it was a squirrel. The squirrel came through and was like, "Oh, I'd rather take the sapling, and I'll leave a tomato in place of the sapling." And I guess
It's typical.
yeah, fair commodity. I suppose.
Typical.
Fair trade.
I tell you what, the squirrels really destroyed my corn this year. I had a lot of challenges with corn this year,
I did
which
as well.
is so
Did
silly.
you have a challenge with earwigs by chance?
More last year actually. than this
Earlier
year.
in the summer, yeah.
Yeah, I know about mixing like vegetable oil and soy sauce together, and it kind of drowns them. But I want more of a better biological approach than having to get out there and add a couple oils and stuff that's going to spill and make a huge mess at some point, and then I got to get rid of those things. I'd rather, I don't know, like I can't get chickens. Maybe chickens would be a good option. Might have to try to do some get some rogue chickens going next year. Have some vigilante chickens or something.
Yeah,
in
just
my
get
yard.
What about
2, 3, 4. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
what about nematodes? Biological warfare.
Think
Would the-
maybe that'll work,
I don't know.
I need to look more into the earwig situation, find out how they grow, where they come from. I imagine they're
Yeah.
soil
They're
dwelling.
related to or are rove beetles, so that's where you can start.
Start with a rove beetle.
They're
Right
similar.
on.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you what.
I would just
what
message.
other challenges did you get with your coins?
I would just
Sorry,
I would just
sorry.
message Zentanol and ask
Yeah,
him, and he'll give you an answer within probably 10 minutes once he
That's
sees it.
definitely going to have to happen before next season with that one, for sure.
Shout out to Matthew Gates, Sync Angel. Definitely go check out the Sync Angel. It's the Sync Angel channel that has all of the great short content on it, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I
Yeah.
had to look it up on YouTube. He's got 2 different names. It's confusing. Matthew Gates.
Zentanol.
Fentanyl. That's the one. Thank you.
We got a few questions I want to get to from the chat. The one from before hash time was from Astro Charlie. This one was for you, for Girly, basically exactly. He says, talking about mixing, why don't we see mixed strain concentrates or mixed strain pre-rolls / bags for effect or flavor combinations? And we've actually interviewed for Girly before, so I already know that he makes blends of extracts and stuff like that. So Astro, hopefully you're still in the chat and he will be happy to answer this for you.
Yeah, I mean, I've answered this on probably other podcasts or whatever in the past, but we were talking about breeding earlier. Like I've never done breeding. We've accidentally pollinated some plants and stuff in the past, and had things hermied and grown seeds and what have you. But I've never had the opportunity to really try to grow out a premium male and then pollinate some of my females and grow some seeds with the intent of growing seeds. But one of the things that I can do as a processor is take 1, 2, 30 strains and combine them into my materials column and make a different flavor almost every single time. I do kind of measure the ratios and whatnot. And so I know moving forward, especially if it's a first time, creating something like the lime punch here. I know, if I want to replicate that, kind of how to do that. Granted, every strain's different, every crop's different. So, and I'm always changing lights, changing nutrients, things change, but I have been growing some of the same strains for 6-7 years now. So I kind of got it down pat with some of those. The beauty of it is every time I do grow a new strain or I have this other material, I get to kind of play breeder in my own way in the lab and start mixing flavors like a mad scientist and seeing what comes out on the other end. I know for a fact that I've made well over 100 different combinations or solo I guess let's just call it different outputs.
My favorite. I have my favorite of yours. My favorite was the lime and grapefruit. I thought that was a fucking fantastic mix, man. Holy shit. Not just for the flavor but also for the effect.
Yeah, grapefruit. I actually I got asked 3 times at Croptoberfest if I had any grapefruit Durban.
Yeah, man.
It's been years since I've grown it, and I wish I did because that was an amazing strain. But you got to catch them all, right? You just can't keep them all. So I'm constantly trying new things and adding new flavors, and even running stuff for clients, if they have some leftover of this and we just want to add it to that, and just it's a new label too. So now instead of 2 products, you have 3 products, and from a business perspective, dispensaries like that. They like the variety. They'd rather buy a half a pound of, well, this isn't for flour, but let's say it's concentrates, half a pound of 4 different things than just all the same. If they could get their hands on it, even if it's slightly different. It's Clement lime and Clement Durban and Clement Jilly bean, it's just Clement crosses or whatever. They like that variety. Now, why don't you see more of that, Astro Charlie? Well, because these people running this shit are not fucking creative at all. And they're not very innovative in what they do. And they just simply see that they have this giant bag of trim and they're going to run it. And that's, the output that they're the input that they have, and that's the output that you get. They're not doing much to push the envelope in that specific way. Now, granted, it doesn't take a whole lot of creativity to do that. It's like, I think probably what happened with me is I bought a bigger unit and wasn't growing enough to fill that unit, just like with the Durban in this case, right? I had 4 or 5 different lime crosses, but I had 1 Durban that I could put on the table, and it wasn't even Durban on its own. It was Durban crossed with something else. So I was kind of forced to make that combo. But it's great.
And you didn't
Poison
want a
Lime's amazing.
monocrop. Yeah, exactly. You
Yeah,
didn't want to monocrop one strain, so in order to do that, you got to mix them.
Yeah, and I'm one caregiver. I got multiple strains. I've been growing these. Been
Look at
repeating
those 2
myself
cups
about this,
behind
but
you.
yeah, you know, you got to keep that stuff going if you want to bring consistency to the table. And that's the thing. I can always come back to just Clementine. You know, I can create as many mixes or whatever as I want with it, but it's always going to still be just Clementine on its own. So yeah, I don't know. It's fun to mix stuff up. One of the other things I've done is taken those, you know, done the unsolvent list. I've taken those rosin screens, dozens and dozens of them with, I don't know, 30, 35 plus strains probably, and blasted all of those together.
The Monster Mash.
Yeah, the Monster
Yeah,
Mash.
man.
They get you blasted
Oh,
too.
yeah. Well, we'll have to get you some pucks, man.
Oh, you have to, dude. The result is incredible. Incredible.
Yeah, we'll do that one time, man. That'd be
Dude.
awesome.
For
Spark-
Groley, I have a question that's kind of a natural follow-up to this is what strain have you kind of collaborated with the most? Is it Durban? Is it the Lime Skunk? Like what have you made into the most things? And do you have any idea how many that is? Like is that like 30 different varieties?
That's a great question. It's definitely not Durban poison because it just grows so slowly and veg and cloning and everything. So it's hard to get a lot of that. That's something I'll probably never have the opportunity to monocrop. I think Clementine and Lime Skunk are the other 2 that have been around the longest. So in referring back to those 2, Clementine, I actually don't think that's the case because I've asked that on Instagram and YouTube, like, hey, you know, I got the spare Clementine. What should I mix it with? Does it sound like it'd be good with Lime Skunk or maybe Jilly Bean or you know, whatever it is? And I've had a lot of responses where people are like, why are you watering down Clementine?
Right,
Just leave
right,
that
yeah.
one alone. That's a straight
Yeah.
shooter.
Yeah, so Lime Skunk is one of those things where it's like super citrusy. I pheno hunted a whole pack of it. I had a skunk pheno and a lime pheno. The lime pheno was just so much better in so many different ways. So I kept that one around, and that's probably the one I've crossed with the most different things. And yeah, I mean, it's probably at least 30. I know I had at one point, and this is before Weed Maps even shut caregivers out, I had over or close to 100 different products on Weed Maps. Most of those were concentrates. So, I mean, probably 60, 70 of them. I'm not saying those are all Lime Skunk, but you know, that was years and years ago. So I know I've done several since.
Yeah, you had a lot of the ocean grown genetics for a while that you were working with too. Didn't you have the Bewitched one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's one of those ones my wife was like, man, I wish we had Bewitched still because this Croptoberfest, like you can make those combos and it's like witches chem and witches brew and witches, you know, yeah. It's fun to name stuff, you know. It's the other creative
What a
stuff.
marketing fail for Groley.
I've got a pack of those seeds still.
Can't keep them all, bro.
Oh, Spartan's got the seeds.
Eh,
What?
I'm gonna just hit up Spartan Genetics. Let's be all right.
Hook it up. Painted Lady, the next question was from you. ILA 822 asks, you mentioned growing Jack the Ripper strain quite a bit. Do you like the terps or the way it grows?
Both actually. And yeah, that's what Russ Jeff with the Irie Genetics has been working with a lot. So that's what he's been sending me to work with. And yeah, I really like it. It's got a really nice Christmas tree structure. So it just kind of really branches out at the bottom and has a really nice shape without even needing to train it at all much. And the terps are great. And I really love a crazy buzzy buzz high. That's my jam. And that's what it produces for me. So yeah, if you want to get shit done, that's your strain. And I like it. It's really nice. And it kind of reminds me of Durbanish a little bit. It's kind of peppery. And didn't you say piney?
Yeah, I think it's got a little bit of pine to it for sure.
Alpha piney.
Yeah.
Now, is it the kind that if you smoke too much, it makes you get anxiety, or is it the kind if you smoke too much, you get the giggles?
No, I kind of noticed. So I get like an asthma response when I smoke fairly often, like my chest tightens up a little. But when we smoke the Jack the Ripper, it seems to open it up a little, and I think that's that piney.
It's a bronchodilator, yeah.
Yeah, which I think is very interesting.
I really like it. So yeah, it's gonna be a keeper, I think, for me. But I really want to try it with the cross with the Arise just to see kind of what the difference is. So we'll see. Yeah.
Very sure. As a good follow up to that, from Jim Owens says, question for anyone or everyone. If you had to buy seeds, where would you recommend? Baked, I want to ask you first because you know a lot of the where. I would obviously say start with U.S. seed banks, but Baked has a list.
You know where I would start? I would start with the breeder themselves and check and see if you
I
can
was
get them
exactly
directly from
gonna say
them
that. I was
before
gonna
you try
say,
to involve a middleman and all kinds of other shit just for
like
some
for
fucking freebies.
instance, go to 2020 or Tiki's site and they'll have a section to say vendors, and then just click those links because then at least you know they're real seeds. They're not, selling them to anybody that's not, gonna rip you off or anything like that. So yeah, first check breeder site if you can and see if you can get them directly from the breeder. Some breeders sell them direct. That's usually the best.
Even better.
But
I want to piggyback real quick, Bakes.
Yeah.
Is go to these events if the breeders are there. I know things have changed
Yeah.
with pandemic, but that is the best way to get them is directly from the hands of the breeder.
from their
Shake their
hand.
hands, get the info on them. But yeah, if you can get them direct somehow.
Especially for these popular breeders, because people will fake these seed packs. People will fake the seeds. That's why you want to make sure you go to their site, like Bake said, and check for their official vendor list. Because people pretend to have the real seeds just to take your money.
Yeah, and I said, Sequence said, I really recommend USA banks. Obviously, I mean, if you're in the USA, so there's no reason to get these European websites and breeders are a lot of white label stuff. It's a lot of wholesale stuff that's been renamed, and you have to wait, 2-3 weeks. There's no reason to do it. A lot of these sites in the US are getting digital pay, and some of them have credit now. So just get some USA seed banks, Neptune. I've got a website with a list I can put in chat that of the ones I've used, but
What do you think
there's
about
there's like 50 that you can trust, in my opinion.
Speaking of like overseas and stuff, what do you think about the viability of the seeds after they go through customs and whatnot? I know there's been talk about that going through, whatever machines.
Being irradiated.
Yeah, I've heard they get radiated. I wonder if that alters the DNA of them or whatever.
I've had some come from, I mean, back in like 2008, 2009, I had some come from Europe, and I never had an issue, but it's just, it's extra risk no matter what. And yeah, who knows what they do with them. So there's no need anymore. And back then you couldn't get any USA, seeds. Now everybody's back. So the people that were growing in Amsterdam are back. So just try to get USA seed banks. A lot of them are Instagram. So if you look in chat, I'll post my link.
Oh,
to
read
what I use.
on people's Instagram too. Make sure you read like underneath their description for it. They may say like no sales and stuff like that. So don't jump on their thing. But there may be a link to a website there. So if they do have a link, and then make sure you check that out. That'll be directly to them.
Yeah, and
you don't want to see anybody get banned for shit.
New fad, I recommend stay away from auctions because you're just gonna pay more. But a lot of the places on Instagram are doing auctions, and unless it's not for, if it's for a charity, whatever, but usually they're just trying to get more out of the pack that you can find for normal price.
What's happening to these seeds that once they're irradiated or whatever? Because most of my stuff is from overseas. I've never heard this before.
We get super frosty mutant weed like the picture behind Sequence.
There you go.
So I do know that they do like scientific testing where they radiate like tomato seeds and then they grow them to see how they mutate and that sort of thing. So I wonder if whatever radiation testing they do to the stuff when they do, I've heard they do that to things that go through customs, if it affects the seeds and maybe it makes them mutate more often or something like that. The plant behind me is Crescendo, so that came from here. No worries there.
Yeah. There's some good ones like you got there, boss, like Mantis, but you can't you go to his site and get them direct from him?
I'm over here fucking muted again. I'm over here rambling away. like I would imagine, like, because we can't actually send cannabis over international borders, you know what I mean? Like, they're not going to be irradiating actual cannabis seeds. They're irradiating fruits and vegetables for pathogens and bugs and stuff like that. They're sending cannabis seeds through things like, I'm not going to give away any secrets.
So they
but
don't radiate just like every package or
anything.
whatever.
Yeah, well,
They just
they're-
radiate
or-
specific stuff.
Yeah, and they're probably not irradiating humans or anything like that. I mean, think of, there's probably millions of different ways that seeds are making their way. I mean, obviously, if through the mail, they're coming in all kinds of different ways, but they're not irradiating every single package. I don't think. Maybe somebody else knows something else, but you know, I know that they do it with fruits and vegetables. I can't imagine that they'd be doing it with everything though. Maybe just with organic, because I know there's ways.
I just picture it as like a radiation machine with a conveyor belt.
like a conveyor
everything
belt,
just
everything
flies
just goes,
through there. But I have no idea. You know,
Go through a
Possibly.
couple of those too.
Well, like, from my understanding, the reason that they do it is because of bugs and pathogens for fruits and vegetables specifically, but I don't know about all goods. I mean, that would mean that all goods would be exposed to radiation. I don't know.
Sounds like some MCMA bullshit with a willow. That's what I'm hearing.
Speaking of the MCMA, Jeff O, who just said that it was his first time here. He's getting ready to leave, I believe, but asked if there was any good news for caregivers. I don't know if anyone has any good news or any updates on what's been going on at the Capitol. I haven't heard anything since the last fiasco where there was and then wasn't a vote or whatever.
I guess we
Yeah,
could
but
say
they
that
skipped it
nothing
over.
really
Yeah.
happened last week. Did we talk about that on Tuesday?
Well, there,
or
yeah,
was-
actually, yeah, kind of. There was some good news. So they skipped over the whole MRA, all the medical stuff during the meeting, but after the meeting, they did go into the office and they did have some people in there from the community, and they were, asking them questions. And one disheartening thing is the basic questions. I mean, the stuff that they should have already known. But the good news is they're reaching out and they're trying to at least pretend to understand the situation. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. It's just every Tuesday, my fucking ears are wide open trying to hear what's going on, because essentially this thing can be prolonged until they are voted out of office. So until the next term starts. So this thing is kind of in limbo and can be voted on any day, any Tuesday,
right,
up until the point of 2022 when we have the elections, and then it expires. So
you got to stay on the lookout.
it's a wait and see. It's a wait and see right now.
For more information, you can always watch this show and check out Spartan's Instagram. He'll usually have the stuff, and of course, Medical Mondays. They're keeping everyone in the loop.
And support your local caregivers.
That's
Yeah,
right.
nice.
And Jazz Cabbage, they've got a really good show there that I don't think they get enough presence on YouTube.
Jamie
they
Lowell,
should.
I
Jamie
agree.
Lowell is really spreading a lot of good information there. If you just want Michigan-centric cannabis information, that's a really good
Like
show.
law info, like real law, good
Yeah.
info.
Oh, and even if you aren't from Michigan, you might still want to check it out if you're going to see, because as we've seen, these states out west have told us that this was coming for us years ago. Once they changed the laws, we knew the next step was what these were. So
It gives
it
you an
could be your
idea.
state, man.
It gives you an idea of activism, right? It gives you an idea of what you can do, because they'll bring on different activists and they'll tell their stories of what they're doing and what they're seeing. So it's really helpful in that aspect, because that's probably one of the most questions that I get about this whole thing, other than who's on the list, who's not on the list, is what can we do? What can I do? And so shows like that are really helpful for that. So shout out to those guys. I don't know if my internet died there.
No, you're good. Let's Be Buds asked a follow-up question. Says Spartan grown, so they could call a snap vote if they think they have the numbers.
Yeah.
And really what it is that committee people have to kind of come to a decision, and then once they have, then they could call a vote and do it up.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not like
It's not so much a snap vote. It's like
yeah.
usually normal procedures is by Friday, there's a list generated on what their agenda is going to be for Tuesday. So you'll get, several days notice. This last meeting, it wasn't on the docket on the Friday one, but then somebody who was sympathetic towards us that has the information said that Linder was there and was saying how they were going to push it through, and Linder was there. But he was just in street clothes and was just seen talking to one of the members, and they never brought it up. So I don't know if he got scared away or what the deal was, or it was bullshit to begin with. But
Just up there lobbying, bro.
The good news is we showed up in numbers though. Every time that the caregiver groups show up in numbers, it sends a strong message to those guys who normally are sitting looking at empty chairs all day long. So when those chairs are full, they ask, what the fuck's going on? It makes a difference. I really believe it is. That's why they haven't voted on it.
Showing that people care.
Yeah, and if you can't make it to those meetings, guys, and I know this sounds so lame, but call your congressperson, call your state senator. It's like it's amazing to me how much you can get accomplished by just being genuine, being professional, and asking for them to do something, especially with your local government. I've tried to get through to the Michigan state senators on issues, and I've never gotten through to them. Our like the U.S. senators for Michigan. I've never gotten through to them. But your state representative, I mean, I've had multiple conversations with mine and have gotten things moved forward that I never believed I could just by having a conversation. So just look them up, call them, and just express your opinion on these bills. It's simple.
It's the voice.
Right. How many people do you think really call them? Not that many people. So when you do get the chance and you do call, you can really get something done. Like Fergoli said, you get passionate about this. The more local you go, the more change you can have, more change you can make.
In your immediate life, yeah.
Yeah. You have real influence at that level.
The squeaky wheel gets the grease. It's just the way it works. So the more annoying you are, the more they want you to shut up. So
maybe persistent. Don't be annoying in the sense of don't be an asshole.
Yeah, don't get yourself.
Be persistent.
Stay
and professional.
Yeah, like I said, genuine and professional usually gets the job done.
Yep.
I don't know, man. I've been pretty genuine and professional. I've been pretty ignored, but I have got a few responses, and I'm still waiting on more.
It do be like that. We had a question from ILA 822. What's the most unique rosin strain you guys have had? And since Fergoli's here, I would just expand it to the most unique concentrate. I would say Yeti's Durian for me was the most unique so far. It's like a fruity, like an orange, then like stank funk on the end. And I love it. Very unique.
It's a good one. I couldn't decide. I saw this earlier, but I have 4. So it's between Dan had a Singapore Sling. There was the Raspberry Kim long time ago from Dogman.
There
Then
we go. Sequence.
The Indigo Daydream from Fergoli. And I already forgot the 4th.
Fergoli, he bought 5 packs of those Indigo Daydream seeds, dude.
Just to find it.
We're gonna go looking for that shit.
Better save me some fresh frozen.
Oh, the 4th was Burberry from Yeti.
Yetis, yeah.
Yeah.
That Burberry just disappears. Put it in the rig, and it just like it disappears into the lungs. And the rig is completely clean when you're done. It just fades to vapor.
That's the thing about all these guys. Yeti, Fergoli, Dan, all their dabs are insanely clean. Like rosin gets a rep for being kind of dirty. Not with those guys. They've got insanely clean products. It's amazing. I've had the same nail for 1,000 dabs, and it's perfectly clean.
Pretty spotless, Red.
Looking good, Red.
Yeah, Yeti, we'll get you some.
I was saying that the Chem D cookies that I washed for JRN was the loudest terps that I've ran across. It was so loud during the wash that my eyes actually were tearing up because it burnt so bad. Like I
It's
was
phenomenal.
chopping onions.
Becca.
It's
Becca
so
says who
spicy.
cleaned that.
I love it.
I
It's
didn't
Stinky Dan, and
definitely
that's the
say
way I
was
like
a
it.
cleaner.
Yeah,
Does anyone else want to? Yeah, go ahead.
I'll definitely weigh on this because they specifically asked about rosin strains, but I will say, that's actually more limiting than what I'm dealing with because a lot
Exactly.
of
Yeah.
these, a lot of these citrus sativas type strains just don't wash well, so
No.
they don't typically end up going into the solventless machinery. In terms of, I mean, I'm just processing. I'm trying to capture the essence of the plant that I'm growing, and I'm doing so much single source that Indigo Daydream is definitely up there. That was from a client of mine, so I can't take credit for that one. But in the ones that I have grown myself, Cherry Lime Haze is definitely way up there. And man, I'm excited to see some of that haze that you're talking about growing earlier. But Cherry Lime Haze, there was Durban Poison as a processor to me is one of the most unique ones just because it has such a crazy high terpene percentage by volume. The best test I've had was 4.31% in flower. That makes it extremely hard to convert into certain extract consistencies because there's so much terpene to THC ratio because again,
Right. It acts as a solvent. Yeah.
that I like cannot grow diamonds in it. It's taken over a month before to get that process moving, whereas something like a sweet pink pie took, I did overnight and crashed out, ounces of it overnight. So that as a processor is really unique to me. But in terms of flavor, that cherry lime haze, I'm a lover of hazes, and that thing was smooth, like fruity cherry flavor into just this weird funk that was just almost like open a bag of old vomit or something.
ILA 822 says for fruity strains for rosin, Skittles is a good one, or Skittles crosses. I guess those wash okay.
Oh yeah, I got some fruity strains. I lean towards the fruity myself for rosin.
It seems like the citrus, like orange and lemon, and that stuff doesn't
Tangy,
wash
yeah.
very well. But yeah, most of the funky stuff washes amazing.
Yeah, gassy.
Gas, yep. So I see that everyone. That's why I see so much GMO rosin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I'm looking for the sweet, syrupy, fruity, candy like
I'm with you. I'm
You
with you,
know,
Dan.
myself.
I got to say thanks to Dan because when we were in Clio, I got to have a dab of the GG4 and he did a low temp start for me. My lungs were cooperating with me for once. I think what it was is I wasn't greedy. So I would take basically what I could take in my lungs. Then I would exhale through my nose.
Just sip it.
Just keep going, and never like get too overzealous with the hit that I just blow my fucking lungs out. So it's definitely really, really stuck with me, Dan. Thank you for that.
Yeah, man. Thank you. You guys say such nice things.
Weedus 207 says try some MOB. I think Fergoli's ran that.
Yeah,
Mother of Berries.
Yeah, I grew that for several years.
I never got to try that one.
That was
a phenomenal one. I loved that one.
Yeah, it was never a producer, like real like limited volume on that one. So she never really took the forefront in anything. I know that was another one of those ones that was on Weed Maps, and I knew I pushed that one out on its own, but that was also one of the ones I got comboed a lot because of its lack of volume. And it's honestly lack of bag appeal and flower too. It was very like skinny foxtaily kind of, but it was, grew for the terps.
That's what the column's for.
Right. Can the man at least enjoy his garden instead of like, oh man?
No, it's what the column's for.
You know what? I was talking to old man Herman Hash. Shout out to him real quick. We were talking this week when I was over there, and he said, I grow plants not because of how they taste. He says, I grow plants because of how they grow. If I like the way it grows and if I like the symmetry of it or the structure of it, he says, I'll continue to grow it just because I love being able to see that all the time.
I've definitely cut strains because they were too annoying to grow.
Yeah.
For whatever reason.
My thing was do-si-do. It was like I hit the real deal, but I could not get it to grow the way that I wanted it to. It was never going to be like this humongous plant that was easy
So
to deal with.
are they just growing ornamentals around their house, or are they actually smoking it? Because it's kind of weird if you're not growing for flavor, even if you're smoking your own supply.
Right.
Like it's
He
weird to
grows
me.
them for the hash. So, if it hashes well, and he's got the big. Someone earlier in chat was asking about the what kind of washer you would use. And I don't know if we ever covered that or if I
Yeah,
can
Dan-
answer in chat.
Dan answered it in chat.
Okay. But he had both of his washers outside, so the taller ones. Yeah, see. Do is such a small plant. Generally grows small every time. Yeah, man. My problem is as I was growing in that bed. So I was limited by that. If it doesn't,
Be sure
if I
to
can't veg it forever so that it's big enough to be able to fit amongst the other sequoias and shit that I got growing in there. So it was never
be
gonna
sure to
illuminated.
tune in the 29th to check out some do-si-dos in Dankman Dan's room for Freedom Green Farms.
Plug us all the way, man.
It's a good teaser,
Oh,
Dan.
yeah.
We should mention that we're dropping the Freedom Green Farms video on the 29th. Abolished did a lot of hard work in editing it together, so we're gonna premiere it. What time was it? 8 o'clock?
Yeah, we got it set for 8.
All right,
Awesome.
yeah. So we're gonna premiere it at 8 o'clock on the 29th. It'll be super cool. You'll see Dan's room. You'll see the 2-tiered system.
Oh, well, you see
all
what
of
you
the-
see in the
see
beginning
the veg, the flower,
where they
the
hang.
dry,
Yeah.
the whole deal.
Yeah, the whole process, man. We even get to see the finished product at the end.
Super smart people in there. Huge scale, huge rooms. Very fun.
Yeah, man. I appreciate you guys showing up there and taking the time out to highlight us a little bit. It was pretty exciting. So look forward to the premiere, and thanks, Abolish, for your work.
It was a
Thanks for
lot
having
of
us out.
fun. Yeah, it was a lot of fun to walk through there. An honor, really.
Right, it was like a field trip, man. It was just a blast.
Impressive facility for sure.
Best field trip I've ever been on.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing, Red.
Kind of feels like a field trip every day when I go there myself, actually.
Yeah.
Every day.
I know that your guys are kind of numb to it probably now, a lot of you guys that work in the commercial scene, but for me to walk into a place like that, that is crazy shit.
Oh, I'm still not over it. It's still very eye-opening and jaw-dropping.
Yeah,
I'm
like
kind of
500
noticeable,
plants in a room.
like
I
on a
never thought.
Monday.
I like when
on
I
a
walk
Monday
into these.
morning when you walk in, you get the first initial terpene blast, and you walk in the door. You're like, okay, we're back to work now.
I always thought that about pizza places. Like, how could you ever get like sick of the smell of pizza? But I've asked several people that, and they always say it's like it takes a week or whatever. But different with cannabis because they're different.
You
just get tired of different strains, though.
Yeah,
it's really loud. Like in my room 5, I have like 23 strains in this room right now. So stupid terpenes across the board. But you get nose blind to it when you're in there 8 hours, 10 hours a day. You can't really smell it
Until you go to lunch.
Yeah, well, I don't go far for lunch, but when we leave or whatever the facility, we change into our normal work clothes. But we still, man, we reek like cannabis, and I'm not aware of it, but everybody else is that you go around. Spartan, I'm sure, has the same problem. It's not that it's a problem, but definitely
it's
people
not a problem
notice
for
what
me.
you do.
People know me. I mean,
Yeah.
I was gonna say,
my shit.
we probably all have that problem. I know I've been called out in Meyer before.
Right,
I had this
yeah.
one lady walk by me and just turn around, and she looked at me and then looked at her friend, and I saw her mouth. Do you smell that? I got to check
It's
out.
in the beard, baby. It's the flavor saver.
Yeah,
Smells like
honestly.
oranges.
I was
Tune in
sitting
here.
in the
It's gonna be
checkout
great.
line at a store, and a parent was talking to their teenage aged kid about people that smell like cannabis or marijuana.
Yes.
How whatever
Passively
they were.
aggressively.
Yeah.
calling
Oh
you
yeah.
out.
Yeah,
Oh
totally.
yeah, dude. I'm just standing behind him, smiling. I was like, okay, I'm gonna reach past you guys and get this Pepsi right here. Good shit.
Yeah.
G-Bay Genetics asks, when revegging a plant to save a strain, what are the most important points to follow? I always start with 24 hours of light, but you probably don't have to do that. And then just veg it. And eventually
Don't
stuff will
overfeed it, don't
start to
overwater
die.
Don't overwater it.
Yeah, don't overwater. That's a big one. Just
So what are you
Let
gonna
it
do
go.
once you start seeing normal leaves? Besides your single leaves pop off, you see some 3-leafers, 4-leafers. Are you then gonna clone it and call it a viable clone at that point?
I've done this both ways. So I've grown that plant completely out like a monster crop and
Okay.
just flowered that plant. But I've also grown it until it was like 4 nodes high. Because like the first few nodes, it'll be real weird. And then clone it from up there somewhere. And then it's much more normal.
Once it
What's
looks
the
right,
faster
then take the
turnaround?
clone.
Well, I feel like we need to back up a little bit because I don't think I've ever successfully done this.
Oh,
I think
right
I've
on.
only tried it a couple times. And I've definitely taken clones in flower, to save a strain, and you get that monster crop craziness, and it's fun to grow those out, but it's like a pre-done LST or whatever training for you.
Right.
But you 24 hours of light, that makes sense to me, just trying to convert it back. What about I assume all the environmental conditions would be your standard veg conditions, but what about like nutrients? How do you swap that over? Are you did you already flush this plant? Do you have to add nutrients back in? Let's assume we're in cocoa, I guess. That's,
Our question doesn't have any parameters at all about the time that this clone was taken. It just says revegging a plant to save a strain. So perhaps it's all the way through the end,
Well-
or maybe not. Like, I don't know.
But yeah, you
think-
would just flush it and start again. It's feeding the veg newts. Yep.
Yeah.
Straight on. Just start.
But odds are, if you're planning on revegging this anyway, you're probably not gonna flush it right out completely.
That's fair, but how long is it going to take to actually start growing? Because I clearly you don't want to overwater, but I've done it at least like a month and I saw nothing happening.
Oh, it takes like
Sometimes it takes
2
2 or
months.
3.
Oh, yeah. It takes a while. Yeah.
My last one, I did a headband
got
cookie
patience.
6, and it took 2 months out of a
Sometimes
little
it's
nugget.
just worth it.
You say that it's patience, and Sequence says it's worth it. And that's the thing is, if I'm at that point where I'm like, this is like a unicorn for me, and I'm not sure that I either have more seeds of this or if buying another pack would help me, I'm going to stick in the corner because I know that I can guarantee I can give that little teeny piece. Maybe I got to put it on milk buckets or whatever to get it up off the floor, but I can give that much room up, even if it's like a 7-gallon pot, to try to save something. But I would, like Sequence said, is you have to let it grow out and go past the wild stage, or you're just passing that shit on. Wait till it starts getting that really good, nice green growth again and untwisted and shit. Then maybe take your cutting. You've invested at least 2 months to this already. Don't fucking race into it. It's worth keeping, then it's worth doing right.
It takes a while, but it'll
Yeah.
come out. Just keep it alive and don't overwater it. That's usually overwatering. Or another big thing is if you're lollipopping too high and you don't leave any foliage or any leaves at the bottom, and then you harvest the tops, and then all you have is a bud down there, and you're trying to re-veg just a bud, that makes it kind of difficult. If you can leave a couple leaves, that'll help you.
And stuff's going to start dying off of it.
Right.
So don't let it stay on there. It'll cause you some trouble.
And if it didn't come back, then I guess it wasn't meant to be. And that gives you all the right in the world to go back and dig in the library or get online and find some new seeds that you really want to fuck with.
It'll come back.
It'll
come
come back.
No problem.
No problem.
So it's
Guaranteed.
the most resilient
Michigan
plant
Bros Go Show
ever,
guaranteed.
dude.
Yeah, but what if a lowly shit grower? Maybe I can't do it. Maybe I fucking.
Oh, I
Hey,
bet
what are you trying
can.
to say? Jeez, Skill.
If for
I
Growley
was
can
talking
do
about
it,
me.
anybody
I'm not
can do
talking
it.
about you. Shit. Hey, trust me, I do not overestimate my abilities at all. So you guys are the ones that I listen to on what not to do. And then I always think about like, man, I'm still fucking that up. So
There he goes again. See what those guys did? Don't do that.
no, I was saying
Right.
like where I gotta go,
We're
where I
examples.
still am wrong at, like one of the biggest things that I had a problem with is, yeah, I would do great at this time of the year, but I would always run into issues because I didn't own a dehumidifier. So I was just rolling dice every single harvest time. And then I would have one plant that it would just get PM, and then now it's all fucked up and shit. So you do have to put some money into this at the same time.
That's the thing I was going to say. It blows my mind how some people, myself included, will go like 3 harvests in a row running into the same problem, knowing that they need to get a certain thing and just not get it.
Right.
And then be like, oh, fuck, I'll just go buy it. And then you're good to go for like $200. All
Okay,
your
but-
headaches are gone.
Okay, but how much is that Quest dehumidifier? How much was that retailing for Girly?
Like 32, 300 or something like that.
Yeah, so
Right.
I couldn't
Yeah.
afford that on my own, you know.
that just
Hell no.
depends on the size of your space if you need something that big or not.
Well, that's not
Smallest
including
Quest
the
Even a
is-
install.
even a small
Smallest
unit.
Quest is $1,200.
Yeah.
Right.
To 70 pint a day. But yeah,
So you got to decide how many pints a day you need to dehumidify and then start there.
Well, how many rooms do you have?
it's how much you.
Well, that's one
feed.
per room.
Right. That's what
Well,
I'm saying.
What are you guys using? And I want to just do it this way. How many pints per day of dehumidification do you have? And how many lights do you have? Like what, how
Okay.
many how many lights is that dehumidifier responsible?
Like by
for?
watts.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's gonna be the only way to tell.
I think
because
we all have
everybody
this-
has HPS
I'm more
and
thinking
LED.
like canopy area, to be honest with you, because I don't really care about your watts, to be quite frank, in this calculation. I'm more about like, you know, maybe put it this way: how much are you feeding every day, and then how much?
That's how that. Yeah, that's
Okay.
how. Yeah.
I've got 2 lights and I use, I think it's a 40 pint dehumidifier. They changed the way they rate dehumidifiers and they changed the numbers, but I want to say it's 40. It's just a household dehumidifier. It's not
How
a
do you
Quest.
how do you guys feel about buying a cheap one?
I mean, there's not really no such thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even like the one I'm talking about is like $240 or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, what depends on what cheap it means to you.
I just got a 50 pint from Menards for 189.
I think I was looking at that same
There you
one,
go.
dude.
It has a pump.
Yeah.
It's
Those
black.
just require a little bit more work.
Whatever.
There's one thing I
Manual
learned
work.
with watching this show. It's that Skilbo loves Menards.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, buddy.
I stay up in
Stay
all
up
you know he
of
watches,
them.
dude?
Menards, Home Depot, Lowe's, man. I got different
It's
places
like,
for
you
different
know, you can go
things.
behind
Like,
Menards and they sell broken shit for cheap.
And man,
Gilbo 10.
Menards is
Maybe
Gilbo
Mechanico's
10 and
grow
Menards,
store,
baby.
man. That's our grow store.
Hey,
right
hey,
there.
you returning that dehumidifier?
You see that washing
come over
machine's
here.
already got a dent on it.
Check my wares.
damn.
Probably the
So
only
all
place
you
I've
can
met
eat
more
roast
growers.
of your friend Skilbo here.
Yeah,
Glad
Fucking
I found
countertop's
we
already
found
split
out
in
where to
half.
hang out. Motherfuckers hanging out at home improvement stores.
Oh,
If you're ever looking for a
dude.
grower, just fucking in the wintertime, look for the
Look-
guy that's looking for like drip irrigation.
in the
fittings.
plumbing
Yeah.
department. Always go to the plumbing department, dude. There's some bullshit
talking-
going on. Like,
I
We're
feel like
talking about home
Skilbo's just
improvement.
he's just creeping around one of these places like, yo, you
Oh,
need
stop.
you need
Oh,
help
stop.
with your grow?
you know what?
I'm always
If I
in
ever
Home
wanna
Depot.
figure
I'm
out-
like, "Where's your sprinkler shit?" It's like
Got something on
December.
for
They're like,
Growly.
"What are you talking about?"
if
People
I
are
ever
like,
was
"Do
going to
you
run
work
into
here?"
for girlies somewhere, it would be somewhere that they're selling dry ice.
Exactly.
That's where I'm going to run into for girlies. At. You know,
Myers
I'm
then.
At Home
Myers.
Depot, you're
Like
gonna be
Myers.
running into fucking Painted Lady right there at Home Depot with you.
I'm
That is
telling
their favorite
you,
store.
if you in chat, ladies in chat, if you ever need a fucking date, go on a Saturday or Sunday morning to Home Depot and just tool one of those
Mill
carts
around.
around with some PVC, and 1,000 people will ask you what you're gonna do and if you need help. Like I knew what I was doing, but 1,000 people stopped and was like, "What you building? Do you need help with that?" And I was like, "Damn!" Like I didn't
I
know
must
what
look
I was
real
doing.
confused.
Person to
It's
help
like
me in any of those
Fucking Home
stores
Depot
ever.
Tinder.
I
You
feel
know
like
how many
times-
Bob the fucking
old white
builder
dude.
hit you
Yeah.
up.
Nobody.
Red's got RBF, so
I'll
nobody's
walk
helping him
around.
out.
I'll walk around every
What's
single
RBF?
aisle of those stores looking for somebody to help me.
You've
out
never
with
heard of RBF, Skilbo?
No, I'm too old. What is it?
Does anyone else know what that
Oh, is
means?
that resting bitch face? Is that what that
Yes.
is? Oh, man.
He's like, nobody will help me. He's probably walking
something.
around.
Nobody ever.
I got to make sure that I hold up my non T9 phone here. Oh, it's green, so it doesn't matter.
He's
There you
walking
go.
around red leather, blue leather.
Fucking PVC.
Raise your hand if you bought a garden hose in February.
Yep.
Right.
the fittings for the
A 10-footer.
How do I go from my garden hose to PVC? You got to get that one special fitting and Teflon
Walking
tape and all that
outside
other
of the
shit.
lawn garden fucking area.
You're the only person out there.
Yeah, you gotta go to the
man.
RV
Snow on the
section to
shelves
get
and
it.
shit.
Oh, for the water filter,
Dusty.
yeah.
I don't know that too well.
The trials and tribulations of cannabis farming.
I will say though, I've met several processors getting dry ice. You are correct, Dab Smith. I think the
Dab
first time I ever
Smith.
met him. Yeah, shout out. Well, I guess I shouldn't give out the location, but yeah,
I think I saw a picture of you guys together getting dry ice, to be honest.
In front of the Meyer thing, yeah.
I'm friends with both you
Meyer
guys.
thing. It's been a long time since I had to get it from Meyer. Those blocks do not work well. I'm all pellets
No.
and high density, son.
They suck.
Worth the drive.
But yeah, I've definitely there's one time not too long ago where I saw this guy and his girl in front of me at like, I don't know, Home Depot or whatever, and he's using the like 1.5 inch wide insulation, like foam insulation that's green on the side, you know, green. And I've used it in the past, and it's cheap as shit. It looks like it's got, I mean, it says it's got great R value and everything. You're like, yeah, man, this is
It
gonna
doesn't.
separate my grow room walls great, you know. And then the second you bump into it, the thing just blows up into a million pieces. And I wanted to say something like,
Get duct tape all over it.
Get the foam.
yeah, get something else, man.
They gotta live and learn.
That's the thing is, when you don't have the money in this, you have to make it work however you can make it work. Maybe it's because you're trying to run a clandestine operation. Maybe it's because shit's just not coming together the way it should be coming together right now. But you're going to soldier on anyway and try to grow this thing. You don't need all the bells and whistles, but a lot of these bells and whistles either make it easier for me, make it easier for the plant, make it easier for my wallet, or just make it kind of cool.
You don't got to do a bunch of crazy shit.
No,
to
you don't
plan
have
well. You just got to know enough little tips like, hey, buy an ink bird, and hey, look into this irrigation and this, and you can figure it out. All you got to do is know the right companies and stuff.
Shout out to the
buy,
Netafilms.
Yeah, I guess to answer your question for Growly, I have 144 square feet, 9 4x4s basically. I run a 190 pint, a single 190 pint by, I think it's Ideal Air. Yeah, it's not Active Air. I think it's Ideal Air. It's one of their commercial series. Runs on wheels and stuff. You could probably run into a condensate pump or something, but I have mine elevated a little bit, so it just kind of gravity feeds. I find that it works in tandem most of the time. I mean, it kicks on regularly, but my 5-ton really does a major source of the water removal for the most part. I mean, without my 5-ton, I probably would have to get a secondary dehumidifier in there, but my air conditioner just pulls so much water out of the air.
190 isn't enough for the nine lights essentially.
Yeah.
Wow.
190. Yeah. In tandem with the 5-ton, of course. The 5-ton is kicking on all the time.
Right.
Even in the dark cycle, it kicks on. I mean, with the dehu running and everything, I mean, it heats up plenty in that room for the.
Do you use a pulse?
No, I don't use a pulse.
I would love to see the graph for your.
I would
humidity.
too, actually. Yeah, I really would too. It seems very, very stable in there all the time. Whenever I go in there, it's always the same. But I give it credit to it. They mainly being sealed rooms and running that the air conditioner. Without the air conditioner, it's not the same.
When you go in there,
Very
Red, do you
nice.
lick your finger and stick it up in the air and make sure that it's the same? Yeah.
It's always very comfortable in there. So
Painted Lady got me a pulse for Growly. It's the coolest shit ever for a nerd like myself.
Yeah, you digging that?
I agree.
The best.
Yeah, that is something I do. For me, it's whenever I have to get a piece of equipment, I have to, I feel I have to buy 2 of them, because I have 2 bloom rooms, and even though one's technically in op at the moment, I still feel like I need to get them both
It's a pricey toy to have, but it's cool, man. Really cool.
Yeah, I mean it helps you dial it in big time.
It's invaluable, yeah. And the new ones have light sensors.
Yeah.
You can tell your spectrum of your lights with it and your PPFD.
PPFD, that's helped me dial in these
Super
LEDs
cool.
big time. I mean, on my variable on my relative humidity today, since the lights have been on, is 5%. Temperature is 1%. Dew point 2%. CO2 4%. Excuse me. Like a little bit of a relative humidity swing there. And that's the biggest thing with humidifier or dehumidifiers, I should say, in my opinion, is the second your lights go off, man, and all of a sudden that humidity just shoots right up. If you're not prepared to battle that, that's when you're going to see most of the problems. And you really kind of don't realize that they even exist until you look at a graph and you just see every time your lights go off and all of a sudden the room gets cool and the relative humidity shoots up.
Everybody's grow problem, like everyone that ever sends you a problem can't tell you what their nighttime humidity is or like any amount of information about it.
Yeah, you just got like, that 24-hour hygrometer and that's the only reading you got, you know?
So how much is this contraption, this Inkbird? What are we talking about?
That pulse is like $600, but you can also do a 24-hour thing that's got history. It'll tell you your high and your low. So then you get not only do you have your active humidity setting, you have a nighttime one. What's up?
I'm going to plug Trollmaster because Trollmaster, I run almost all my equipment on Trollmaster sensors, and those, you know, that's relatively affordable in comparison to a Pulse. You can get a pretty much a whole room setup. It's not going to give you as pretty of a graphs and notifications and all the stuff that Pulse does, but it does have a graph and it does have warnings. And so I get, you know, low CO2 warnings, for example, if my propane tank runs out. I'll get that on both the Pulse and the Trollmaster. That goes right to my phone on both of them. So, you know, it's good to have that graph and that data, and a Pulse is a good place to start. But if you're looking to integrate sensors and everything into your room, I would start with the Trollmaster stuff because it'll give you that little bit of that capability. And if you pop an Ethernet cord in there and somehow run it to a router or whatever, or even a mesh point, then you can start controlling everything in your room while you're away. Everything from your irrigation to your lighting to your dehumidification, your CO2, all that you can control with clicks of a button. It's amazing what we can do nowadays.
What's your price point?
Say again?
What's your price point on something like that?
The sensors are running in maybe $50 to maybe $100 or more. I know they just came out with another one that's more digital rather than just kind of like an analog sensor, if you will. And then I want to say it's a couple $100 for like the main unit that kind of controls everything. Although there's an LCD one that's mainly for like commercial grow ops. It's insane. It's like a big giant LCD touch screen. It's sweet, but it's like thousands of dollars. That's something you're going to only get if you're running, you know, 8-10 rooms or something. But I'm not sure how much I've sunk into it. I'm sure it's several $100s, but I run 2, you know, let's say 10 lights worth of CO2, irrigation, light controls, dehumidification controls, humidification controls, everything except my fans and my AC is run by Trollmaster, and I can pull up my phone right now and change it. So
sweet,
it's worth it. I'm all about automation. If you know,
oh yeah, man, I love it. I love it too. Brad's got a little bit of automation in his life as well.
So before we get out of here, we got to make sure that we do plug both events. The upcoming Freedom Green Farms will be Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you don't have that, make sure you catch it on replay later on, or come through Saturday morning live at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Wake and Bake with the Groskis.
See you all in 20 minutes on Polarity Science.
Yeah, man.
Beyond the Veil.
Drop your link again, Red.
We'll see you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for watching. If you
thank you, Fergoli. Appreciate you.
If you watched this stuff this far, if you liked Fergoli, or if you didn't, shoot a comment in the thing after the video's over.
What?
He said, "Fuck you." I saw it.
Damn.
Oh, we appreciate you guys being here. All the likes, all the comments matter. There's more people in here every time. So
yes, sir.
Switch to live chat.
Say what you want to say, motherfucker.
Hit the guns, Bake.
Pew, 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 pew. You already probably cut it.